Today we're going to talk about self-sabotage, why you're doing it, and how to stop. So I want you to picture this. Imagine that you are driving in a car down the road and you get a flat tire. What do? You get out of the car and you slash the other three. That is what self-sabotage is. It is taking a small problem and turning it into a much bigger problem. We all do this in lots of different ways, but I want you to think about how you might be self-sabotaging in tiny little ways every single day when you didn't even mean to. You didn't even realize that it was happening. Maybe you're someone who says, it's already 2:00. There's no point starting the day now. Like, we've already lost most of the day, so I'm just not even gonna start taking action. We'll start tomorrow. Or I can't start today. You can't start working on a Thursday on a new project. You have to start on a Monday. Or maybe, like me, you try to squeeze a whole bunch of extra things into a certain amount of time. So like right before you leave the house, you want to squeeze in a bunch of extra things. I once actually had a client say to me, I would never dream of squeezing just one more thing in. And I was like, whoa, I think I'm the one getting coached in that moment, realizing I can just choose not to squeeze things in and not to be late and not to turn up places having been rushed. Where are you self-sabotaging? Because there could be so many tiny little ways that you take something that starts out as a small problem and you exacerbate the problem and make it so much worse by your next action. And so we don't want to punish ourselves for doing this, but we just want to notice it so that we can make a change. So when I started noticing myself self-sabotaging in all of these tiny little ways, my first question to myself was like, why am I doing this? And it's actually really interesting. So the brain is just trying to keep us safe. And when it sees something go wrong, or it sees something that could go wrong, it wants to pump the brakes. It's like, hold up a second, I just want to make sure you're safe. Go back to the comfort of where you were before, because we know that that is safe. I actually did this recently. So on Instagram, I have noticed that my reach has been down a ton. So it's like 10 times less than what I was getting last year. I used to get hundreds, even thousands of likes and shares on my posts, and recently it's been really, really down. And so my brain said to me, well, that's it. Instagram doesn't work anymore. And so what did I do? I stopped posting on Instagram. I pulled back, I did barely any posts compared to how many I used to do. And then guess what happened? Instagram stopped working for me. I wonder why. Not because it didn't already work, because my brain was telling me it's not working. So I stopped working. And I kind of created this vicious cycle where I slashed the tires. I thought Instagram wasn't working, and by having that belief that Instagram doesn't work for me anymore, I made it not work for me anymore. And as soon as I decided that's not true, Instagram totally works. What are you talking about? There's literally billions of people on Instagram. I'm sure I can find some of them. I went out, I started posting again, and boom, Instagram started working. Wow, what a shocker. I completely sabotaged myself by thinking that it wasn't working. I made it not work. One of my friends told me a story about this happening to her. So she wants to sell her product, and so she'll go out into the world, sell it a ton, and then people will start to create demand for it. People will want her product. And then she fears not being able to fulfill the product, and so she stops selling completely. So the brain has gone, I don't know about this. This seems dangerous. Let's go back to before. And then she ruins her chances of being able to actually grow her business because she keeps herself stuck in this small way. And when she was explaining this problem to me, I helped her see how it is not unsafe to have lots of demand. This is not a bad thing. Sometimes this fear of success comes up because the brain's like, what if everything's too successful and I can't handle it and it's too much and it's too overwhelming? But actually, if you look at it, if you have too much demand, you just don't fulfill the demand. That's the worst thing that can happen. And then if you want to, you can figure out how to fulfill that demand. It's so much better to have the demand than to not have it, because you are the one making sure you don't have it. And you prevent yourself from having the success that you want because your brain is thinking it is unsafe. So ideally, we want to stop self-sabotage from occurring before it even begins. And the way that we can do that is by considering, where am I self-sabotaging? Ask yourself this. Is there anywhere in my life right now where I am doing many little self-sabotages? Am I letting things go overtime a ton? Am I just quickly finish this task up and then it takes a really long time and you never get to the next one? Are you doing what I was doing, which is telling yourself that something isn't working so then you don't do the work? Where do you see yourself doing a little mini self-sabotage in your day? So for me, that was the Instagram thing. It was having random rules about when I should start an activity. And it was letting tasks go overtime, letting them bleed into the next task. So I had no time for that thing because I was telling myself that I had to finish this one. Okay, so how do you break free of this cycle of self-sabotage where you think it's not working, so you stop working and you make it not work? Here is what I do. This is my mantra. Don't change the plan, fix the tire. You want to get back on course immediately, as soon as you can, as soon as you notice yourself either starting to self-sabotage or about to self-sabotage. You want to get back on course as fast as you can. So instead of saying, I'll do it on Monday and I'm going to change the plan even though I said I'd do it today, do it now. Anytime you notice yourself going a little overtime with something and then thinking, I'll just put that task off, stop the task you're doing and do that instead. Because it's not a setback if you bounce back. If you just keep going and you keep moving forward, it's okay if you notice yourself having a little stumble. The problem isn't the flat tire. The problem is when you go and slash the other three because you feel so annoyed about that first flat tire. Fix the flat tire. What can you do now to make sure you get back on course? Because with self-sabotage, the problem is not that something went wrong or that something might go wrong. It's that you confirm and make and ensure that something goes wrong because of the next actions that you take. You are always going to face challenges. You're always going to have things go wrong, but don't make them worse by getting off track, by changing the plan. Stick to the plan. Fix the tire, whatever that metaphorical tire is in your situation, and keep going. So for me, that often looks like telling myself that even though the conditions aren't perfect for filming, we're still going to film. And even though tomorrow feels like it's going to be a much better time to execute that task, it says on my calendar to do it now, so I am going to do it now. And even if it feels like it makes sense at the time to slash all of the tires of the car because the cars are right off anyway, stick to the plan and fix the tire. Keep going. It will give you so much freedom when you allow yourself to not make the problem worse. Now, if you've already self-sabotaged, if you're already like me and you've realized you've messed up big time with something like Instagram and you pulled back a lot, forgive yourself and show yourself that ultimate forgiveness by getting back in the game, because the way that you are going to feel better is to start back up again. That is what I've got for you on self-sabotage today. I hope you have an amazing day filled with following through on what you had planned to do, even when the problems arise. And I will talk to you in the next episode.